It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. What's going on, everybody? It's Michael Jimenez live from Radio Row, Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, California. James Pledger and Carl Schoenig are here with me today. We're doing 12 to 2 sports pop culture nostalgia. It's a fun time over here. How you guys doing, man?
Can't complain. Wouldn't do good if I did.
Very nice. Pledge, you look fantastic, my man.
Well, I thank you.
So you know what, man? That was an interesting point here in Los Angeles, trying to figure out what to wear today because, Pledge, you took me shopping beforehand. Now, I am wearing one of the shirts that we bought in San Antonio at North Star Mall, so I am rocking the shirt, but I couldn't do the cardigan, man. I'll do the cardigan outside of Radio Row. But, man, I'll tell you what, things are buzzing over here. A lot of people have shown up. We've seen a lot of athletes. We just saw Orlando Scandrick, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys, was just hanging out here. We have a lot of people out here. Got to hang out with The Miz from WWE yesterday, which was fantastic. Joe Montana as well. But, man, we have the entire crew out here, and it is hopping over here. Again, the busiest days, rather, of Radio Row week are Thursday and Friday. But, man, today it is looking fantastic, having so much fun out here. We were at Redondo Beach last night. And, Carl, I'm going to let you know something. By the end of the week, I think there's going to be an outright argument between the San Antonio Sports Star crew over who's driving and why. Because, man, they cannot stand my driving. And, again, this morning I got lost on the way to the convention center. I've driven out here 6 times already. It's only a mile and a half away. But for some reason, I can't find my way over here.
Are you saying you're tanking on being the driver? You just want to sleep in a little bit longer, so you're intentionally losing? You're making them a little late, something along those lines, so you don't have to do it anymore?
It's the funniest thing, man, because when it comes to driving, I'm really good about knowing where I'm at. But I wake up at 2:45 in the morning. Dude, it's 2:45 in the morning, and I have Rob.
You've been there for a week.
I've had him barking at me, going, "You take a right at the Ralphs, you take a left at the Popeyes." But it's 3 in the morning, man. Those lights aren't lit up. I don't know where the Popeyes is. I don't know where the Ralphs is. But the funniest part about it all was yesterday, Rob took the wheel, and he drove us to Redondo Beach, right? Now, mind you, getting out of the parking garage, he was driving the wrong way. So I started giving him a little bit of grief about that. But after that, we get on the road and we're trying to get on the freeway. We're about to miss the exit. He swerves to get onto the freeway, and I almost crash. My head almost hits the side of the window. And Rob is walking by over here. I don't know if he's happy that I'm telling the story, but, you know, we all have our bad moments when it comes to driving, and apparently mine is every day. Oh, and then Ryan Engel's over here jawing at me right now because we're going to the parking garage, and he's complaining that I'm parking so far away from the elevator, right? I'm like, dude, just walk 30 feet, man. But no, I had to keep driving around and around and around to find a parking spot right next to the elevator. So by the end of the week, you know, we're going to be tired of each other over here, but we're having a good time regardless, man. But Radio Row, man, good times. We have lots of celebrities walking by. Yesterday, we had Eric Dickerson out here. I saw Barry Sanders. I was 5 feet away from him. I did not even realize that I was 5 feet away from him. I was looking for snacks. I looked to my left, and the legend, running back legend, Detroit Lion legend, Barry Sanders is standing right next to me, and I'm looking over at him, and I'm thinking to myself, that Barry Sanders? Is that Barry Sanders? And I'm thinking about it because it looks like him, and then I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, he was 5'8". I'm close to that size, so it is him, and it turned out to be him because I saw him walk all over to the NFL radio. So,
and you didn't get him. You didn't ask for an interview.
No, because that was the green room, and there's certain things you can and can't do. That's like a safe zone for a lot of the celebrities and a lot of the athletes and whatnot. You know, you can flag them down anywhere around Radio Row, but the green room is kind of sacred. I would say.
Understandable.
You can take like a off to the side, put your camera against your body, kind of
make it as obvious as possible that you're not acting natural.
Yeah, no, I didn't do anything like that. It's funny because back in the day,
I mean,
I
you
would have
asked
been.
the Miz for a shout out for your family member.
That is true. Okay, first of all, my sister-in-law is apparently a huge Miz fan, right? And she's really big into Dancing with the Stars, and obviously he's a superstar wrestler. He was on Dancing with the Stars, and he was also on The Real World back in the day. So I knew that of him. But it was funny because he was so nice. I never would ask that of somebody who I didn't think would say yes. For example, Joe Montana yesterday was very nice, but you can tell he was on a time schedule. He was ready to go. Next stop. But the Miz was super sweet, man. He just seemed like he was very nice. He did a little bit of the radio plugs for us as well. And took some photos with him, but they're all really nice. But I missed out on the Eric Dickerson meeting because I went to the gift shop when Eric Dickerson came on by. So I missed that legend.
Did you get anything at the gift shop?
Yeah, so I got my daughter a Jamar Chase shirt. It says Bengals Super Bowl, and it has Chase and 1 on the back because she has a lot of Burrow stuff. She's at LSU. Chase is from LSU. So I had to get her one other LSU type of thing. But, man, it is expensive at the gift shop here, the Super Bowl experience. Pledge, I was at the NFL experience over here. It doesn't open until Thursday, but Rudy and I kind of just walked in. Don't even know if we were allowed to, but, we just started walking around. It looks amazing. You could do everything from like the tackling drills to the cone drills to can you make an extra point? There's all of these different activities going on, passing drills and hit targets and stuff like that. Very, very cool. We wanted to try it out because we saw some footballs there and we thought, come on, let's just get inside, but it was all caged up. So, but it's pretty cool out here. But man, Radio Row right now, first day that we were here on Monday, there was like maybe only 15% of the tables taken. Yesterday was about half, and today I'd say about 80% of Radio Row's full.
See, and it's only going to get more and more crowded the more you're out there. And I know you have an issue with the driving. They have an issue with your driving. You getting lost this morning just proves their point a little bit more than your story about Rob's. But I have issues as well. And it's not just the fact that, we went shopping and you've neglected to wear anything up until today of what I brought out. But I have issues with the fact that y'all did this awesome photo shoot out on the beach last night. And when we got our jackets in the first place, I was told, ho, don't post these. We're going to do this awesome group photo together of SA Sports Star, all wearing our jackets, rolling in. I've got this all planned out. And what do? I'm scrolling through social media last night.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, I see the fact that I was told not to do this because this was going to be a group thing. Oh, I get it. Y'all meant a group thing amongst y'all. Why couldn't I post my jacket?
Okay, we all have to blame Rudy J for this, man. I'm going to throw him under the bus when it comes to this because he was all about, hey, let's go to the pier. Let's take some photos, and we're asking complete strangers to, take video of us and whatnot. But Rudy J, it is his fault. Pledge is upset that that we had the photo shoot without him and Carl.
Oh, they weren't.
Rob says we'll do it again.
It's gone. That's like saying
the moment's gone.
Yeah,
Pledge says.
that's like saying, hey, it's cool. I forgot your anniversary, but we'll do it later.
Yeah, we will. we will Photoshop you. Just do it on the back parking lot. We'll Photoshop you. But man, yeah, blame Rudy, man. That was all about him. But last night was pretty cool. Redondo Beach had some steak. We had some calamari. It was good times, man. But looking forward to today. I'm wired up. Pledge, you would have been so upset, man. We got back at 9:06 p.m. A second night in a row where we're back at 9 o'clock.
I mean, y'all do what y'all got to do. I get it. Everybody's older. Everybody's getting up there in age. You can't do what you used to do. I get how y'all are. It's fine.
We'll have a cane waiting for y'all when you get back.
But I understand that some of the people coming by for interviews over the course of the next 24 hours, some of the next couple of hours, we're looking at Warren Moon being out here at some point. We're looking at Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. We've got a lot of different people out here. Like I said, Orlando Scandrick was just here. It was very, very nice. But it's starting to fill in. I'm taking a look outside. I've seen Andre Reed. There's going to be a meet and greet tomorrow. so people can come by, like fans can come by and get autographs and whatnot. So good times, man. Good times out here. But Joe Median reaches out to us on Facebook and says, that's messed up. Carl and Pledge were already practicing their poses. Don't doubt it. But I'll tell you what, Carl, when you wore the jacket to the Troy Aikman event a week ago or so, people were like, man, that jacket looks good on Carl. That's what I heard. I heard that from like Rob and from Minix going, man, that's the first time the jacket had gone out into the public, and they were very happy with how it looked, man. So, but that's an event right there, man, that I wasn't invited to. I mean, Carl, you were there to see Troy Aikman and meet him and whatnot.
I was asked to go to take photos. I'm an Eagles fan. I was fighting back booing him, to be honest with you.
Come on, man. Did you say hi to him?
No. I was there to do a job, and that was it. But I had to wear a mask so he couldn't hear me. I couldn't hold back all the boos. I was just like, boo. So, if I had a snowball.
Oh, come on, man. I cheer for certain teams and I go against others. But, man, if I meet somebody on that team, I'm going to be super nice to them because
he's a Cowboy. I'm an Eagles fan.
What?
It's written in a code we have to sign.
Yeah.
Are you calling me a hypocrite, Pledge? Like a fandom hypocrite?
Like
that boy?
I don't think I'm subtly doing it. I think I'm straight out calling you a hypocrite.
Dude, come on, man. But, when you meet these players out here, it's fascinating because you have all these handlers coming by and basically we're being asked, hey, do you want to interview this person? We're working our connections as well. And like The Miz, for example, yesterday, WWE star. I mean, the guy has like 4 million followers on Twitter. That guy on Instagram as well. The guy is huge, hugely popular. And it's one of those things where I knew who he was, but I'm not a big WWE fan. But the fact that he came by, stopped by, had a good time with us, a great conversation, took photos afterwards, and was just a really good guy. That's so awesome, man, to meet people like that. Joe Montana, I mean, that's somebody that I never thought in a million years I would ever get to meet for a brief moment. But he was really good to the guys over here as well.
I was kind of low-key jealous of the Joe Montana interview because
Really?
I'm a huge Criminal Minds fan. Like, I even dressed like Spencer Reed yesterday.
That's so cool, man. And, he was with a guy named Ross, who is apparently an actor
It's Ronnie Marmos.
Ronnie. That's right. He was really nice, by the way. He's
also been on an
Hospital,
episode of Criminal Minds.
formerly from General Hospital and whatnot, but he was a complete sweetheart. Got to meet him and his wife. But I wonder who I'm going to meet because right now I mentioned that I had a bucket list of 10 things that I wanted accomplished.
How far along are we?
3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Got to meet Annie Agar from Bally Sports. Really excited about that. She is wandering around. We talked a little bit a while ago. She said that she'd be willing to do a quick little interview later on this hour. Meet a famous actor. Joe Montana, right? That qualifies.
I believe that qualifies, yeah.
I'd qualify that.
And to meet another star, another celebrity, and that would be The Miz. So 3 for 10, man. The week is still young.
What are the other 7 that you haven't done yet?
Okay, well, I want to have a pick with Warren Moon.
Yep.
I want to have a conversation with the Levitard crew. Doesn't have to be Dan or Stu Gotts, just the crew. I want to meet a Super Bowl champion, which if Michael Irvin is coming by this afternoon, I could knock that one out. I want to meet a Saints player, specifically Cam Jordan, because he's going to be at an event that I'm at later on this week. I want to have a drink with an athlete. I don't care if it's past, present, or whatever. I want to have a drink with one, just toast to one of them. So, and then also the long shot one is some sort of interaction with Mike Ditka, because I am 44 years old. The 86 Bears, I was 9 years old, but that's when I first got introduced to football. And being an NFL fan was, that championship team with Walter Payton, with Refrigerator Perry, with McMahon and all of those guys. It was a fantastic team. That's when I got really excited about it. There's rumors out here, people out here like Icky Woods. I mean, that's a name from the 80s. That's before your time, Carl. But Icky Woods was a big deal back in the day, former Cincinnati Bengal. He was known for this dance that he would do in the end zone that to this day, even though I'm 44 years old, to this day, I still know how to do that dance. I don't think I'm going to do it in front of him, but Holtz on YouTube says, not Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is a little bit busy right now. He's in Clark County, Nevada.
I think
I went downstairs. They have
he's great.
autographs of Alvin Kamara for sale that have not been slashed in prices yet.
Nah.
David Alejandro says, "What's up?" on Facebook. What else should I do? I need some more ideas as to how to live it up.
Get a picture with the swaggiest GM that has ever been a GM.
Who's that?
Thomas Dimitrov. That dude's got some of the best hair, style. Like, he is the swaggiest of all GMs that have ever GM'd.
I don't think I was here at the time, man. I don't think I was here, but I see Annie Agar. I'm going to try to bring her over for a quick interview. So I'm going to toss it over to you guys, see if we can do this interview on the other side. But I'll give it back to you, and I'll be back in a minute.
Right.
So now we can talk trade deadline, right?
Sure, why not?
Right,
Let's talk some trade deadline.
How about yesterday's trade? Domantas Sabonis ended up not being the best player traded in his trade. Tyrese Halliburton is a steal for Indiana.
You're saying that Domantas Sabonis is not the best player right now acquired in that trade?
No, the Pacers getting Tyrese Halliburton is a home run hit.
I agree.
Like this moment right now, if we're
his-
picking a pickup game, I think I would rather have Halliburton than Sabonis.
I believe he has the higher ceiling.
Definitely has this higher ceiling.
But you're talking about you've already acquired an all-star. You acquired the all-star. Sabonis is the all-star acquired.
I'll put it this way. I do not think the Spurs would be willing to part with somebody on the level of a Tyrese Halliburton on their roster to get a Sabonis. And I think that if you did, it would be a lateral move. That's not how you would want to do a trade. I get why the Pacers did it. I don't get, except for the sort of logjam with Davion Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox that they have at the guard position, why the Kings did it. That's the best of those three guys.
Yeah, I believe that he has the highest ceiling and can be the best player. There is no doubt about that.
Right now, he's averaging 14 and 7 with almost a steal, I think over steal a game, almost a block a game. He's shooting 41% from three, and he's 21 years old. I don't think that the overall value on the court is really upended there. If you're talking about the modern game, that's probably the best player they could ask for.
I mean, trust me, I understand that the ceiling is higher for a Halliburton who's only going into his second season. But to say he's the best player acquired without knowing his future is blasphemous in a sense, because you're talking about a multi-time all-star and a guy that's averaging 19 a game to go along with nearly 10 rebounds. And he shoots a really good clip from three. So yes, I understand what the upside and potential of a Tyrese Halliburton, just the same way I understand what the upside and potential of whether it's a Josh Primo or a Devin Vassell could be. But to say that that's the best player acquired at that moment, that's not true.
No, it is. I mean, it's debatable. I think that there are people who would say I would rather have Sabonis than Tyrese Halliburton. But if you're an NBA franchise trying to get wins this season, I think Tyrese Halliburton contributes more to that, because even with that logjam backcourt, he is just an improved player from where he was last season. Guys like Tyrese Halliburton do not come around often, and I know some Spurs fans were thinking that he probably should have been the Spurs pick instead of Vassell. Vassell fits the roster a little bit better. I don't know if Halliburton would necessarily be as good if he were playing behind Derek White and DeJounte Murray, but when it. This is the thing. I saw this on Twitter. I thought it was great. Tyrese Halliburton was on track to maybe change the culture of Sacramento, and he said as much. He said he wanted to be there in Sacramento and make Sacramento winners, and the Kings were like, hey, easy now. That the truth is, yeah, if you know, maybe it came down to marginally better if we start looking at advanced statistics, Domantas Sabonis, it isn't that close. I don't believe it's that close. And they got Buddy Hield on top of it. Indiana came away with a swindle.
I love the trade. Like, I like it for both sides because both addressed what they need.
That's true.
You have a De'Aaron Fox. You have a Davion Mitchell. One of those guys has to be out, whether it was Davion or De'Aaron or Halliburton. They chose to build around De'Aaron, obviously. That's what the Sacramento front office believes in. So they're moving on from Tyrese Halliburton, who is also coming off a serious injury coming out of the past season. So one of those things is they had to pick one. They can't have all three. You have a gluttony at one position. You pick the best of what you think. Their front office decided to build around De'Aaron Fox. They needed help in the front court, and they acquired an all-star front court player.
I think you're right. It seems a lot like Vucevic last year when what did they give up? Wendell Carter, who, I know not too many people probably paid too much attention to Wendell Carter when he was with Chicago and now even less in Orlando. But Wendell Carter is not even as good as Tyrese Halliburton. So, yeah, it is sort of you have to give up something to actually get a player like Domantas Sabonis. I know Spurs fans were clamoring to maybe say, oh, they're having a fire sale. That trade probably also kept Miles Turner right where he was. It seems like the Pacers decided that they're going to start building around Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, and Buddy Hield is a nice, interesting piece that they can move around for maybe picks, maybe this summer, something along those lines. This is going to be a quicker rebuild in Indiana than it looked like it could have been a week ago, and I think part of that's because they weren't expecting to get a player like Halliburton in return for Sabonis.
Much more coming here on Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, as we'll continue to talk about the NBA trade deadline. What looms? Are there any other big moves after seeing guys like Sabonis and Halliburton and Karis LeVert already switch teams? Are there even bigger moves coming down the pipe? We'll talk about it coming up here on Halftime. But coming up next, Annie Agar of Bally Sports will join us right here on Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star is live from LA all week leading up to the game.
Always sacrifice.
The Rams, the Bengals, balls will be flying and pads will be cracking as both teams give their all for pigskin immortality. The latest news, moves, and A-list guests.
Joining us now, the moves, Daryl Johnson. We get to talk to Michael Irvin.
Don't miss a minute. All week, presented by AA Best Bell Bonds, Nearside Ave, Texas Chia Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Joel, love is in the air, and I've ordered lots of Quarter Moon Valentine Day merch. I just need you to approve these samples.
I think you know the answer, Nigel.
Take a look at these, Joel. Personalized, heart-shaped pillows.
Yep. Nope.
Custom Quarter Moon balloons. Roses are red, violets are blue. Nigel deserves a raise. What's this you?
No and no.
How about these Quarter Moon chocolates?
You mean the half-eaten ones?
I know you don't like surprises, Joel. I've tested them all, and they're delicious.
Folks, there's nothing romantic about home repairs, but when your plumbing has lost that love and feeling and your AC is about to achy break your heart, call Quarterman Plumbing, Heat, and AC at 210-651-5899. We'll fix the issue fast at a great price with a servant spirit.
Joel, this is a special Valentine gift from me to you.
Yeah, but why are your arms red?
I got a deal on this plant for your office.
That's poison ivy, Nigel.
It's what?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M13229, DACLA 000743458E.
Before we rodeo San Antonio, mosey on over to Dietz Tractor. We're busting out of the chutes early with a stock full of LS tractors. And this is no 8-second ride. Take your time and choose from a field that includes compact and utility tractors at low prices. Excel in your field with LS Tractor. 7-time winner of the EDA Dealer's Choice Award. Backed by a limited 6-year warranty, LS Tractors will give you more standard features and more performance for less money. These are some of the hottest tractors around, and Dietz Tractor wants to sell them to you today at unbelievable prices. Dietz Tractor, where you get more tractor for less. Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you have taxiety? That uncertain feeling before doing your taxes? Filing on your own or choosing the wrong partner can be stressful. Connect with Liberty Tax and then just breathe in and cash out.
Get $50 by filing before February 20th.
Go ahead, feel it.
Visit StopTaxiety.com to schedule your appointment and say farewell to the stress of tax season. Liberty Tax. Let's end taxiety. At participating locations, terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
You can talk low carb all you want, but if you don't have a lineup of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the keto game. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds are high protein and low carb. Plus, they're low sugar, gluten-free, and naturally loaded in collagen. So it is a no-brainer. Get the bold flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Predict the perfect score and win $50,000.
We want more money.
Presented by
Yeah,
Dietz Tractor. Guess now and win at sasportstar.com.
San Antonio Sports Stars AA Best Bail Bonds Big Game coverage is brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, Nearside App, Texas Cheer Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. We're also on the road. We are in Los Angeles right now. Radio Row here for Super Bowl 56, and we have a special guest. You may recognize her if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook. It is Annie Agar from Bally Sports. I understand this is your first Radio Row. How's it going for you?
It is. It's exciting. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I heard the last year was very different because of COVID and everything, and we're finally seeing people we hadn't seen in a very long time in the media industry, and it's very cool. I gotta say, I love it.
Okay, now here's the thing. During the commercial break, Jason Minix was asking you to ask me about something, okay? Because there's a rumor going around that James Pledger, who, by the way, is dressed very nice today, tried to help coordinate my outfits for this trip, and it didn't go well this morning.
I like what you have. I like what you got going on. There's a little white collar.
Yeah, the white collar looks
down.
It looks good, but the thing was that I had a cardigan on this morning, and I didn't know if that was a go or not.
Dear. What are you starring in Harry Potter? No, we don't do partying. Also, it's Los Angeles. It's like 80 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went with the button down.
Yeah, I left it. I was like, I walked downstairs and I was like, it's time for Political Science 1301.
Yeah, exactly.
But very nice. I wanted you to be one of our guests, and I'm going to show you one last thing on my phone. I made a bucket list of the things that I wanted to accomplish while I was here. And number 5 on there was meet Annie Agar, because I am a big fan. I'm a complete big fan because I'm a sucker for a human interest story. And about 20 months ago, the success that you have now was not the success you were having then. Tell us a story about what was going on in your world.
Yeah. So, just over a year ago now, I was working in local news. COVID had just hit, so I didn't have really a job because I was, a sports reporter in local news. And at the time we were covering a lot of high school. Big Ten football was just ramping up because we were getting ready for spring games, and that all just stopped. And nobody in my industry has ever dealt with a complete shutdown of sports. It's the one thing you can always plan on something to cover. And we didn't have anything. And so I was at a loss because I didn't know really where to go. And, I'd spoken to a ton of people in this industry, and I knew I wanted to get to the high up level. I wanted to work at a big network like ESPN. And everybody said you start in local news. So I was climbing the ladder, trying to get to where I wanted to go. And that all stopped, and I had to really reevaluate what was going on. But then I saw COVID as kind of a chance to bring some laughter back, because people were so depressed and down about, not having like a comedic relief side of things, and they forgot that it's okay to be positive during all this at some point. Like there's so much negative. I wanted to remind people we can talk about sports again, we can laugh again. So TikTok was a great way to do that, and allowed me to kind of share the content that I made with that first Big Ten video, and it went from there.
And you absolutely blew up. Now have over 400,000 TikTok followers. Is it safe to say that you are now TikTok famous? I mean, can we call you a TikTok star?
If you're comparing me to Jackson Mahomes, then absolutely not. Not even close. And you guys will not see me dance, by the way. I will never do that on TikTok.
Now, one of the TikToks you had, though, was you're a Green Bay Packers fan. And I assumed that you were at a bar watching the game, assuming that they were going to beat the Niners. And then I'm assuming that the play that we saw your reaction from was the blocked punt that was returned for a touchdown, and the Packers lost, right?
That was the one. Yep.
So question for you is, what was it like going through that experience and sharing it on TikTok? And the second thing was, how difficult is it being an Aaron Rodgers fan these days?
It is so tough, Michael. No, I love my Packers, and I think what's hard about it is I'm the complete idiot. I was born in Detroit, right? Packers fan. Born and raised, I like to say, though, because my best friend growing up was from Wisconsin, and my family are all Lions fans. But I would go over to my best friend's house every Sunday, and I'd come home, and I was younger, and I'd say, hey, they don't cry on Sundays. I think I want to be a Packers fan. I was dead serious about it. Dead serious. So I became a Packers fan, and then I went from Detroit in Michigan to Chicago. Literally the two places you don't want to live if you're a Packers fan. So I think what was great about that bar video, I was at a bar downtown Chicago. Nobody there is rooting for the 49ers. Nobody in their right mind is a Jimmy G fan in Chicago. But they were all the biggest 49ers fans that night, and it was traumatizing because I'm wearing my Packers jersey. I was walking super confident into the Chicago bar, like Jimmy G's going to throw a late game interception like he always does. This is going to be a great game. I'm going to have some drinks, have a great time, and it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. So yeah, it's hard. It is hard being in Chicago, being a Packers fan. Every time the playoffs come around, I feel like that's a little bit worse.
Understood. We're San Antonio sports stars. So San Antonio in Texas, 99% of football fans in San Antonio, I would say, cheer for the Dallas Cowboys.
Great.
I'm not one of them. Okay, so this is a safe space.
Great. Good.
Why is it so easy to make fun of the Dallas Cowboys? Because you've done it before.
Man, it is. They are. I've said this before too in other interviews. They are my favorite fan base to make fun of. One, because they when you tease a little kid and they give you a great reaction, you're like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing this because this is fun. If they were to just ignore it and let it go, you kind of be like, okay, that's they're not giving me a reaction. You guys always give me a reaction, and I love it. I love every second of it. I think one of my favorite tweets I put out this year, and mind you, I had this prepped. I had picked the Cowboys to lose that game against 49ers. I knew it was coming, and I had this tweet prepped where I was going to say, if I wanted to watch Cowboys get beat, or I was going to start up this new show Yellowstone. I said, if I want to watch this new, I wanted to watch this new show Yellowstone, but if I want to watch a bunch of Cowboys get beat, I just watch the playoffs. So I had that tweet pre-prepped, you guys. I had it ready, and I wanted so badly for the Cowboys to lose. I don't know if it's this rivalry between Packers Cowboys. I don't know why it's that fan base that's like that, but it's scripted out so well because they have the history of living in the past. They like to talk about 94 or whatever, and then they
94.
and then they don't like talking about the playoffs for this particular reason. And I love that it was scripted out so perfectly. It just worked out great for me. So I think that's why it lines up. I love talking about them, and I love the reaction. Sorry. I will always continue to do it.
It's been a long time. 26 years, soon to be 27 years. Real fast before we let you go, who do you got in this game? Bengals, Rams.
It's a tough one. I got to go with the Rams. I have to. I think this is the toughest D-line that we've seen. Bengals O-line, first of all, and 9 sacks against Titans, and they still won somehow. But I just think it's a different kind of, you got Von Miller, Aaron Donald. Like, it's going to be a different kind of pressure that Joe Burrow's not used to seeing. A different kind of Stafford, if he's on, he's on. I expect big things from Joe Burrow. That's the reason we're talking about Cincinnati. We wouldn't be even considering Cincinnati in this game if it wasn't for Joe Burrow and being able to, throw to Jamar Chase, and then when he's double covered, go to T. Higgins. Like, he spreads the field great quarterback, but I got to go Rams on this one.
That's the closest Detroit's been to the Super Bowl.
It is.
Matt Stafford
and
there.
And playing at halftime. So
that's right. That's right. That is Annie Agar from Bally Sports, also TikTok famous. I declare it. Thank you for being with us. We'll have more from Radio Row later on today, but for now, take it over, Pledge and Carl.
Don't wear cardigans.
I will always wear cardigans. I'm sorry. That's my swag. That's my style. It's a good look. I like it. It goes well with a bunch of things. Thanks so much for everything out there. Annie, have a great one. Mike, enjoy yourself out there on Radio Row. Carl, as we look forward now to the NFL or the NBA trade deadline, we talked a little about the Sabonis Halliburton trade and who won that. But there was another big trade and CJ McCollum that went down. And also we got to see Karis LeVert move this trade deadline coming up. So a lot of big names on the move.
I want to talk about that CJ McCollum deal a little bit more. Would Spurs fans have been mad if a similar trade had gone down? Like, say, maybe they figure out a way to make Thad work out to where they send him. And I don't know what the rest of the numbers would look. But do you think Spurs fans would have been mad basically trading away this year's first-round pick if it weren't top 4 protected for CJ McCollum? It doesn't seem to fit, which is, part of the point. That it helps the Pelicans better, but it seems like a lot of Spurs fans are just interested in the Spurs making a trade for the sake of making a trade.
No,
and that wouldn't have been a bad move, obviously, because CJ McCollum's a proven scorer in this league. However, if that were sort of something that's like, hey, this is on the table, we could potentially get CJ McCollum. Do you think Spurs fans would have been mad that they didn't pull the trigger on that?
McCollum only makes sense if you're moving other backcourt players, because they too have a logjam of backcourt players. They have Derek White. They have
Lonnie and Primo and
Lonnie,
Vassell.
Primo,
No, I know what
Vassell.
you mean.
Like, there is a lot of people there. So yes, while he would be the best player there, you're taking away minutes from other people that it seems to be you're grooming to step into that role. So what's the point unless you're moving and packaging a Derek White and a Lonnie Walker to go with it on the way out?
And that's what they did with Josh Hart and the upcoming first-round pick. That's an interesting trade that went down because New Orleans basically is showing their hand that they want to make the playoffs.
Yes.
And the Blazers were like, okay, we think that this will make you better than a top 4 team. So if you win the lottery, okay, you get your pick, but we don't think you're going to make it into the 8th spot when the actual playoffs start, or 7, whichever it ends up being.
And it's more than what you would think in terms of just making the playoffs for the Pelicans. They acquired CJ McCollum for a much bigger issue, I think. And that's the fact that Zion Williamson, he reportedly wants out, right? Zion reportedly, according to people close to him and sources, wants out of New Orleans. He's not happy there. So if that is the case, it is a guy that you have invested heavily in. You haven't had a whole lot around him when he has been healthy. Brandon Ingram's probably your next best player to him. You're trying to bring other stars to pair with him so that you can turn the ship and hopefully make him happy so that he doesn't want out.
I love this for New Orleans.
He
I don't
pairs
think
well
that,
with them.
yeah, I don't think that there was a player that they were going to get better than CJ McCollum with their first round pick and Josh Hart. And now, looking at that roster, you're talking about CJ McCollum along with Brandon Ingram, and hopefully Zion comes back. I'm sure there's rumblings, but he needs to play. And the Pelicans, because he's a restricted free agent, control his contract situation over the next several years. So I would have to say that when you're looking at the Pelicans and how they've constructed their roster, next year could be the year that they find themselves in maybe a legitimate playoff hunt for maybe the 6th seed at best, if everybody's healthy. Because we know that Zion is one of the most talented players in this league, and he's going to have to get back on the court eventually and prove that he's worthy of the contract extension that he's probably going to get either way. And then, is anybody going to trade for him if he doesn't live up to the contract that he's probably going to get? It's sort of a situation where they have to work through their issues by Zion playing and New Orleans paying him. So whatever happens, I think that this was a really good deal for the future of Zion Williamson, who could be their point guard and shift all the way to their center. He plays positions 1 through 5, almost like a Barkley in the modern day era.
And Gilberto Padilla says he would not want to give up a top 5 pick for CJ. Well, it was protected.
It's protected top 4. 5 through 14, it goes to Portland, and then 14 and up,
Charlotte.
it goes to Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing. I know.
I understand how it's supposed to convey, but the fact is, like, there's a reason they protected the pick. Like, they didn't want to give up a top 5 pick either.
And it's understandable that nobody, except for the Nets that 1 year with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, when we talked about that, nobody wants to give up an unprotected pick, and it's such an understood sentiment that it's usually what you see when these picks are traded.
I look at that one, and while it makes sense for New Orleans because you're trying to find a star to pair with Zion, you haven't had one, and now you think you've got some firepower. Fully healthy, you have Brandon Ingram still, you have CJ McCollum, so you've got your 3, you've got your 2.
Jackson Hayes has been playing great.
Jackson Hayes at the 5's a high upside big, can switch out on the perimeter if needed. He is bouncy. He gives you a lot, and Zion can run point to 5. Doesn't matter. And it allows them to do a bunch of things, both offensively and defensively, in terms of their abilities. But I love this trade even more for Portland. And everybody's wondering about Dame Lillard and what does it mean? Or are they going to move him? I don't think so, because the big thing that they've done by making this trade happen is free up a ton of space. They can free up to $60 million in cap space this upcoming year. That gives you the chance to go after players to pair with Dame Lillard. And I understand small market teams, hard to draw, but when you have a Damian Lillard, when you have a bona fide superstar and cap space, which is something the Spurs really didn't have except for that 1 year with LaMarcus, and it worked that year. They brought in a free agent because they had the cap space and they had other superstars there. They had both Tim and Kawhi, who was ascending into superstar status at the time. And it worked for them. But in terms of Portland, I think this is great because Damian Lillard's an even bigger name star that I think people want to play with.
Yeah, Portland sees the writing on the wall. It's going to come down to Dame Lillard probably is going to get at least 1 more year in Portland. And they realized just the construct of the roster, they needed to start over with everybody but Dame potentially being on the move. So I do understand what you're saying, but I almost wonder if they'll go a step further and see what they can get for somebody like a Damian Lillard. If this James Harden, Ben Simmons thing doesn't pan out, is that the move? Is that something that's probably being conversated right now between the GMs? Hey, James Harden, Ben Simmons trade not working out. We'll do Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. I think that the Sixers and the Blazers would probably be in a situation where that would be the best case scenario for both teams. You get somebody on a long-term contract that's a good young building block in Ben Simmons, and then Joel Embiid will have his prime maximized with Damian Lillard sort of being that lead guard. They don't really have one. Tyrese Maxey's been their main point guard in Philadelphia this year, but Damian Lillard is obviously the guy that you would probably start at the 1 and then figure out where Maxey fits in once he's there. So yeah, I don't think Portland's done yet, but they might be done for the trade deadline if they can't get a Ben Simmons, and they know what a Ben Simmons is going to cost.
Frank Valdez says Dame will be traded in a sign and trade this summer.
I thought he was on his contract. Didn't he just get a big contract extension, Lillard?
Dame? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he can't be signed in trade.
I understand that.
Well, yeah, you never know. Maybe somebody's signing with I'm not saying James Harden, but if James Harden wanted to sign with Brooklyn for a trade to send Damian Lillard, yeah, I guess I see that. And that's where a lot of, negotiating from the agents that we never hear from is really playing a big part in these players moving around, because you brought it up earlier off air. Brian Windhorst was on Greeny this morning, and it sounds like James Harden does not want to be in Brooklyn anymore. He's pushing to get out of there, and he might do as much as say to them, hey, get something for me now because I'm opting out and I'm not re-signing.
It's something we're definitely going to visit as the show goes on. This is halftime right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Our Radio Row coverage for the big game, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, also brought to you in part by the Nearside app, Texas Cheer Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Speaking of the big game, you will not believe what it costs to get into the door of the big game. What is too much for something like an event like this to not sell out? We'll talk about it next right here on Halftime. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The Rams, the Bengals. We've got you covered all week long, live from Los Angeles. Don't miss a minute all week from LA. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, Nearside app, Texas Cheer Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Two Texas NBA teams were in action last night. The New Orleans Pelicans, hot off their trade for C.J. McCollum, picked up a win over the Houston Rockets, 110-97. 6 Pelicans scored in double figures to lead New Orleans, while Kevin Porter Jr. was the only bright spot for Houston, putting up 27 points in the defeat. In Dallas, the Mavericks easily handled the Pistons 116-86. Luka Doncic had 33 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds to give Dallas the win. Both teams will not be back on the hardwood until after the NBA trade deadline on Thursday. And tonight, after 4 days off, the San Antonio Spurs kick off their annual rodeo road trip. The first of 8 straight road games has San Antonio in Cleveland for a 6 p.m. tip-off against the Cavaliers. Josh Primo was recalled from Austin yesterday and will be joining the San Antonio Spurs for the start of the road trip. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Yes, I'm so sorry about the wait, ma'am. I'll be with you shortly. Carrie, how many appointments did we book at 2:30?
Jin's physical therapy clinic is pretty stretched. He needs another PT before patients get bent out of shape.
You get fresh ice pack from Miss Davis's name.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you fill your prescriptions at Walgreens, you can track the progress of your order in real time. Know the price of your prescriptions before you go to pick them up. And anytime you have questions, use Pharmacy Chat to ask an expert 24 hours a day. Help with your meds from Walgreens. Side effects may include breathing a little easier because your prescription stress melted away. Learn more on the Walgreens app.
This price isn't final. This is an estimated price based on your insurance coverage.
Hello, this is Dr. Mark Havercorn of River City Oral Surgery. We're the practice that upset the industry by publishing all of our prices on our website, rivercityoms.com. We offer tooth extractions, wisdom tooth extractions, dental implants, all-on-4 dental implants for about 25% less than the competition, and all kinds of other face, mouth, and neck surgery. Why else should you come see us? Easy. Because we are easy to talk to, compassionate, and experienced. It's not impossible to get a hold of me. We'll call you back when we say we will. Unlike other places, dental surgeries are not the hardest surgeries I do. We do all-on-4 dental implant cases every week. I'm not sweating your case or pushing my limits. And if you have a complication somewhere else, you're probably going to be referred to an oral surgeon. So why not start with the expert? Call River City Oral Surgery and me, Dr. Havercorn, at 210-778-0002.
Jay Semenix here for River City Oral Surgery and Dr. Mark Havercorn. River City Oral Surgery is a full-scope oral surgery practice on 1604 near I-10 across from Top Golf. Call 210-778-0002 or go to rivercityoms.com.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again, with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joints, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now at 210-571-0318 and wake up to a life without pain. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills.
So here's the deal. If you're an entrepreneur, a contractor, gigster, self-employed, or a freelancer, that means you're in business for yourself, which means you can get a business bank account that pays you back 2.2% in 2022. It's called Nearside.com, and right now, it's free. I get it. Usually when banks say free, they drop the R and it's fee. Monthly fee, overdraft fee. With Nearside, there's no fees, not even a sign-up fee. I'm talking free, the kind that feels like sunshine and makes you do a happy dance, especially when your Nearside debit card pays back the 2.2 in 2022. That's 2.2% of everything you buy for taking care of business. From a laptop or a paintbrush to work shoes and cheeseburgers, it's free money back into your business. No hidden fees, just really, truly free. Start your free account today at nearside.com/free. Debit card rebate restrictions apply. Visit nearside.com for details. Nearside is not a bank. Banking services are provided by Lending Club Bank N.A. member FDIC. Nearside.com/free.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 5,000 people died in workplace accidents in 2019 alone. Construction, transportation, manufacturing, oil and gas, and agriculture were among the most dangerous industries for workplace accidents. Thomas J. Henry handles serious workplace accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to LA. Live all week leading up to the big game. Don't miss a minute all week long. Presented by AA Best Bell Bonds, Nearside App, Texas Chia Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This is Jason Minnick. Get home with me and Joe Reinigle this afternoon, 4 till 7. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Welcome back into halftime right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. I am James Pledger, filling in for Michael Jimenez, who's out culling more interviews for shows later today. I know they've got quite the guest list coming up over the next few days. I'm joined by my man Carl Schoening. You can follow him on Twitter at CarlESPN. I am at I Am Pledger. Carl, at what point do you tap out of going to an event?
What do you mean? Like just tap out of going to an event? Like I just don't feel like going?
Like, let's say it's a huge deal to you, right? Bucket list kind of thing. Going to a Super Bowl is a bucket list type of item for a lot of people, right? NBA Finals, Daytona 500, the Indy 500, like huge, huge event that is a bucket list thing. Like, I want to do that at some point before I kick the bucket, right?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure I wanted to go to Tomorrowland, which is a ridiculous EDM concert. And then I realized I was too old to actually.
You're never too old.
I was too old to do the drugs that are required to go to that thing. I'm pretty
It's
sure
not required. It is just encouraged. There's a difference.
It's strongly encouraged. In fact, you might not even realize it's in the water they sell or something like that. Yeah, no, I realized that I had to tap out of doing that when I turned 30, and I realized that I would probably be older than everybody by about 7 years at that point.
So, think of an event, maybe Tomorrowland in your prime or another upcoming event, something huge that you would like to do. Put your mind and focus on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your walk away?
Usually it's just when I decide it's not worth it anymore. And I know where you're getting with this. If it's something expensive, I know that when the Phillies made it to the World Series in 2008, I was very close. I looked at the tickets. It cost more to get into the baseball game for a World Series game than it cost to actually fly to Philadelphia from Austin.
You are a huge 76ers fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been through the process and everything.
Yes, I cried many nights.
They are in a closeout game of the NBA Finals.
And I can get there because I can.
Yes.
The cutoff for a Game 7 of the Finals for the Sixers
something that you're not sure you'll ever see again in your lifetime?
I want to say I would drop $1,000, but I wouldn't drop $1,000. I don't think I would drop 500. I'd probably go as high as 400, and I would just go with myself. I don't think I can invite somebody and say, okay, I'm buying 2 tickets for $850.
All right. I bring this up because Super Bowl ticket prices right now via StubHub are selling for $9,000 a piece.
It's nice if you can find somebody that'll pay it.
At what point does a price point get so high that you have to worry about a big ticket event being sold out?
The Super Bowl's already sold out. These are just resellers.
I was thinking, but sell out. Like all the butts in the seats. Usually you're not going to find a ticket that's going to go to waste. Like the Spurs have a lot of quote unquote sellouts. I'm sure some of the games that I've been to this year were quote unquote sellouts.
Maybe not this year, but I get where you're getting at. No, if the tickets are sold, then the game is sold out, which means that you can only buy the tickets from secondhand.
But optically, you don't look at a Super Bowl and go, that's not really sold out.
No, it's sold out. It's just how much are you willing to pay to get in? That's the beauty of living in the 21st century is no longer does sold out mean sold out. It means somebody made an investment. So, I should probably do this every year because I knew plenty of people back when the Spurs were in their heyday that bought season tickets and sold the good games. So they basically made a profit by the time it was all said and done. Yeah. So,
Cowboys ticket sellers do that. A bunch of teams, season ticket holders end up doing just that.
Yeah, and it comes down to, are you willing to gamble with that ticket and decide what you want to get out of it?
No, I'm wondering not what you're willing to gamble. I'm wondering what you are willing to pay to go to something, because 9,000, I would have thought, because I thought of this morning, I was like 10,000 is probably a walkaway number, right? 10,000 is an event where someone may be just like, all right, it's just not going to be sold out this year, right? It's not going to look as full as it does because there's not enough people that have that kind of disposable income. But apparently there are.
Well, what does it mean to you is essentially what it comes down to. If I were to give you 2 Super Bowl tickets right now, and the game plan is you and I are going to the Super Bowl, or we're going to put it on StubHub for $10,000 because that's what it's worth for us, $10,000 a ticket. And all of a sudden, I don't know what it costs to get face value, but I know that the NFL is not selling Super Bowl tickets for $10,000 a piece, depending on the spot, obviously. There might be a few prime tickets that are that much, but yeah, these people bought the tickets and probably are local LA or can fly in that day or cancel it if the tickets sell. If you think that 10,000 is your cutoff, maybe you buy drinks next time we go out.
I'm just wondering what it may be that feels excessive, and I'm wondering at what point a game no longer becomes sold out in terms of optics. Not so much the ticket sale price, the optics of it to where it looks half empty because people can't afford that, right? That's my question.
I think, I think that anytime you see these resellers, it's because they're aiming for that. And then when it comes down to, hey, it's Friday and my tickets haven't sold yet, you're going to see those prices drop. So right now, probably the heat of everybody saying, oh, hey, I think I'm in LA this weekend. I can find a ticket. I'll do that. That's what you're looking at right now with these people that are buying $9,000. They have that kind of disposable income. It'll drop down to less than 1,000 come Sunday if people aren't going to actually be there. I know what you mean. If the seat is not filled come game time, then that's a lost investment for somebody. They'll try and cut their losses.
656 ESPN 656-3776. What say you? Or you could reach out. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Just search San Antonio Sports Star. Subscribe, comment along with the show. You can also tweet at us. He is at Carl ESPN. I am at I am Pledger. When we come back, more of the NBA trade deadline, as there are some big moves that could possibly happen by tomorrow afternoon. We'll tell you what's in the works right here on Halftime. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning?
Here's what you missed. The storyline of Kanye is entertaining.
I'm telling you, and bless his heart. I say that both.
You sound like a country dude. Like, that's all country folks say, bless his heart.
I know that he's got some medical issues that he doesn't tend to.
That's another country word, tend to. Well, that's country. It don't get no more country than tend to.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
When others treat your fries as an afterthought, all you're left with are cold, soggy fries. That's why Wendy's new fries are ones you won't forget, guaranteed to be hot and crispy, or we'll replace them. We're talking natural cut, skin-on fries, perfectly seasoned with a hint of sea salt. In fact, they're even preferred almost 2-to-1 over McDonald's. These are fries so hot and crispy, they beg a new question.
What would you like with your fries?
Try them today, only at Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, taste preference based on a national taste test by an independent research company.
You can talk low carb all you want, but if you don't have a lineup of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the keto game. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds are high protein and low carb. Plus, they're low sugar, gluten-free, and naturally loaded in collagen. So it is a no-brainer. Get the bold flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinigle. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate, 210-785-0994, or go online at stevensroofing.net.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug. Don't you just love the smell of old books? Shh, this is a library. Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need. I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction. He really does devour literature. Please leave. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll love is easy at Diamonds Direct this Valentine's. With an expanded selection of designer jewelry and our best offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Your love is always our passion at Diamonds Direct, but especially on Valentine's Day. So we're holding nothing back. Pick any item, get our best value price, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest financing. Everything's included. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, pendants, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course, the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. And this weekend, we're also showcasing all new collections from our top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, and others. No matter what you choose for the one you love, you'll get the best price and 5 years, 0 interest financing. We're even open this Sunday with special pregame shopping hours 11 to 4. Get more details and even shop online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Unapproved credit.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Alamo Cycleplex, located at I-10 just down from Days of Allah exit. Guess what, guys? They're celebrating 50 years of being in business. 50. If you've been in business for 50 years, you're obviously doing something right. And to kick off the 50 years, guess what they did? They went and added 8,500 square feet of new showroom. I've seen it. I've posted it on my social media. Go and check it out. It looks beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see it. The KTMs are in, and if you're a bike fan, you know what I'm talking about when I let you know those KTMs are in, and they're beautiful. They got the slingshots, KTM, wave runners, jet skis, bikes, anything and everything you can think of, they sell fun. That's what it's all about at Alamo Cycleplex. Check them out at alamocycleplex.com or just go to the location and look at the showroom yourself if you don't believe me. Go and check them out for yourself at alamocycleplex.com. alamocycleplex.com. We sell fun.
Live, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN, AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
What's up, y'all? It's half 2 of halftime. Michael Jimenez out doing fun things on Radio Row in L.A. So it's just Carl Schoening and James Pledger here, getting you through your midday break. Pledger, I think it's going to happen. I think the Ben Simmons trade will happen this evening while we're all sleeping. I'm pretty sure they're close to a deal. It's looking like James Harden doesn't want to be in Brooklyn anymore for whatever reason. You know, maybe something's wrong with his apartment being too small, unless he wants to fork over another $1 million. But seems like something's went wrong in this dream destination of his that was Brooklyn. You remember how hard he wanted to get to Brooklyn. You're a Rockets fan. He wore a fat suit, for goodness sake.
he did a lot of things to get out of there, and he did a lot of things, or he's doing a lot of things right now to make sure that he can get himself out of Brooklyn, which... be careful what you wish for, I guess.
There are a slew of reports coming out right now from several credible media members, including Brian Windhorst on Greeny this morning, that says that the conversations are happening. One of the things that would probably happen is that the former San Antonio Spur Patty Mills would be going to Philadelphia, as Seth Curry is the sharpshooter that the Nets would like out of the deal with James Harden. So it seems like James Harden and Patty Mills, which probably comes out to about $50 million annually between the two of them, will be shipped to Philadelphia. And now the 76ers, who have Ben Simmons, obviously, is $30 million a year, part of that trade contract they need to get moved over. They got to figure out another way to meet that. So I want to say Seth Curry is making somewhere in the 10 millions, and they also, the Knicks, the audacity, are asking for Tyrese Maxey. Their 76ers aren't giving up Tyrese Maxey. No. We might as well just say, hey, that's off the table right now.
I would too. I mean, I look at the way this trade can go down, and I don't see, outside of just accepting the fact that James Harden is the superstar that you were trying to acquire, like without getting draft compensation in return for Ben Simmons, who's locked up for multiple years. I don't see how Daryl Morey doesn't eat the words of what he was looking for in return in trading Ben Simmons away, especially for a guy on an expiring deal where, as we've seen, things can turn quickly on how James Harden feels about a situation. So not having him locked in long-term would be a difficult ask.
The one exception to that is it seems like Daryl Morey and James Harden had a good relationship in Houston. So I do think that Daryl Morey is confident enough in himself that if he were to pull off a James Harden deal, he would be able to sign him to a long-term extension. Then on top of that, I think, along with a lot of Philadelphia 76ers fans, James Harden and Joel Embiid are the perfect combination. For whatever reason, they did not seem to do a lot of pick and roll where Ben Simmons was the ball handler with Joel Embiid. That's going to be every time down the court, might as well be, for Joel Embiid and James Harden. They're going to be a very big dynamic duo. I just don't want a year of Joel Embiid's prime to be wasted if they can't pull off a deal right now. So, you know, it would suck to lose Tyrese Maxey, but I do think that if that's the real thing that holds it up, it's like, hey, the Nets will make this trade. You get James Harden and Patty Mills as long as the contract general frame works out where Seth Curry and Ben Simmons are going to the Nets. Man, that's going to make an exciting Eastern Conference playoff matchup later this year. that you're going to have all the storylines just colliding between Philadelphia and Brooklyn, because they automatically, with the exception of defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, who don't need to make a trade, are going to be the two exciting teams that you want to see a juicy playoff series with.
Sure. And it's incredible because, as you said, Windhorst breaking the story earlier this morning that these talks have been heating up and have re-engaged, and people are, I don't think, fully quite aware of how much James Harden is the one behind most of what is going on.
I can't tell you how much James Harden wants this.
Really?
And because he basically, you got to be very careful using the Q word or saying whatever, but his actions over the last 10 days are basically a threat to the Nets. What he did in Sacramento last week, at that time, the Nets had lost, I believe, 5 or 6 in a row. Durant was obviously out. They were playing in Sacramento. That's a game they got to win for about 5 different reasons. And just to frame this, James Harden, until he hurt his hamstring in a game in the first quarter last spring and had to leave the game in the first quarter, he had scored in double figures in 450 consecutive games. He's one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. He then, after that happened, he got healthy from that. He then had a streak of 44 consecutive games. Last week in Sacramento, he played 37 minutes and scored 4 points. Okay? That doesn't even articulate the effort level he gave on defense in that game.
Effort level on defense has been a thing with James Harden in the past, which he did get better at later in his Rockets career that I don't think he was giving enough kudos for, and especially in Denver or in Brooklyn as well. He is, when locked in, an extremely capable defender.
He's an above average defender statistically. If you look at all the advanced stats, he has gotten over the kind of mental lapses, which led to his man being wide open. And as a defender, I want to say 2 years ago, was number 1 in blocks among guards. And that's something that you have to really put a lot of effort into, even if you're not necessarily playing the best defense, to be able to get up shots. That's really the
all right,
the main
we're
thing there.
going to get back to this James Harden deal and the NBA trade deadline, but I want to talk about I want to talk about the pettiness that is Michael Jimenez right now. The fact that he's not on air to vocalize this, so he's decided to jump in to the Facebook and YouTube live stream just to basically pat himself on the back in terms of the Annie Agar interview, and saying how sweet she is for coming back to just chat with him for 30 minutes after the interview even happened.
She seems like the person she is on her social media in real life. She's very witty, and and sometimes people are witty in social media because they have time to plan it out.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she got on y'all. What did she say to you? What is this, Harry Potter?
Yeah.
You are kind of dressed like a Harry Potter character today.
Which, by the way,
there's nothing wrong with that. You look sharp.
Never in any Harry Potter movie have I seen a cardigan, so I don't know what she's talking about.
No, doesn't one of the gnomes or elves wear something like that? I'm pretty sure that's an outfit that somebody in the first movie wore. I'll have to pull up a picture for you later.
I'm just saying, it's not the go-to Harry Potter look. There are a lot of different movies that I could incorporate, whether it is a cardigan or some type of sweater. Mr. Rodgers is probably a good look to go with.
You are giving off a British vibe right now.
James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot that you could go with. And Jonathan C. on our YouTube live says, I'm dressed like a pallbearer. This coming from the guy whose profile picture is him in a black bow tie with a suit jacket. So, pot, meat, kettle.
You outdress both of us. Like that. That's you dress for me.
Thing.
Yeah, I can kind of lower how I come into work because I can expect you to wear a suit. However, you need to give me fair warning those days that you come in your workout gear so I can at least put on a collared shirt. This way it still evens out. I just need to know.
Look, all I'm saying is Michael Jimenez is trying to name drop so hard right now by just jumping into the comments section to leave that little nugget for us to play with.
Must be nice just to go out and, have fun in LA. So, yeah, I wouldn't complain about waking up at 2:00 LA time to be a driver. That's a fun trip.
Yeah.
He can go back and sleep too. Come on now.
Exactly. He's literally doing is waking up to drive 10 minutes each way. It's not a big deal. He can come home, crash back out.
And it's easy to crash right back to sleep at that early in the morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if
is.
not, hey, that's okay. Figure out something to do. LA is a fun city.
I feel a lot like Jimenez is trying to basically ruin this trip. Like there are a bunch of us that didn't get to go on this trip and have
Namely
this
you
kind
and
of
me.
fun. And he is over there just, it's hard to stay up past 9:00. Oh, I have to get up at 2 to drive them to work. I'm driving a van. The dimensions are tough getting out of the driveway. Like there is always some sort of excuse with him. Like everything he's done, like I don't want to wear the cardigan.
Hey, how did we miss this Woj bomb? We were
Is it
talking too
official?
much. It's 1:08 right when this tweet goes down. The Utah Jazz are acquiring Portland's Nickeil Alexander-Walker and the Spurs' Juancho Hernan-Gomez in a three-way deal, according to Woj. The Spurs get Tomas Satoransky and a second-round pick, and the Blazers will get Joe Ingles, Elijah Hughes,
Wasn't
and a second-round
Satoransky
pick.
just a part of the CJ McCollum trade?
Yes, and so was Nikolai Alexander-Walker. So that's not a bad move for the Jazz to try and shore up their things. Well, this is the tweet just now that brought this to my attention from Woj. The Jazz are sending out 2 second-round picks in the deal, sources tell ESPN. Alexander Walker, 23, has a chance to make an impact on the Jazz bench and assuredly will benefit from Utah's development system, averaged 13 points for the Pels as part of their rotation. Ingles is out with an ACL and leaves as an expiring contract in the deal, but don't rule out a future return to the Jazz. He's a free agent this summer. Spurs, Blazers get more draft assets and expiring deals to set up this summer and perhaps more at the deadline. Interesting. But there goes the Juancho Hernan-Gomez question. He needed to only be shipped out on his own. So now Tomas Satoransky goes from New Orleans to Portland to San Antonio within 48 hours.
He's racking up a whole lot of frequent flyer miles right now.
I hope they let him know at least. It's like, hey, don't come to Portland. We might still trade you. If you're still here Friday, you can come.
There's a good chance that you're going to be going somewhere within that general area anyway.
Yeah, so it's not bad for them. But I don't really know what the draft compensation is. Woj didn't actually have it clearly written, but that was something where Bryn Forbes was traded for Tomas Satoransky. Excuse me, now he's traded for Tomas Satoransky via Juancho Hernan-Gomez, and it was a 2028 second-round pick from Denver that the Spurs got. So we're adding in another pick here, potentially from either Portland or Utah. It says Utah sending out some picks. So once the dust settles on this, the Spurs will have a ton of draft capital to be able to throw something at. And, those second-round picks, usually draft night, they go to the highest bidder sometimes up to $2 million.
You can get money for it.
Yeah, so you could package that is what I'm getting at for another team that might be interested in making that investment. So second round picks, they're very much a big deal despite maybe not being big name players. And you never know if maybe that's going to be a big factor. And, Woj kind of hinted that something might not be quite done yet here for either team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other bombs we have. That seems like a small move that the Spurs and the Blazers and the Jazz were saying, a lot of floodgates are going to open up here once the Ben Simmons, James Harden situation is sorted out. And let's just get our smaller deal in. So this way, the Jazz, who lost Joe Ingles to an ACL injury, I think 2 weeks ago, they're finding a guy that can sort of replace a little bit of his production. And then you have a lot of other guys that are just kind of floating around that are really just to be expiring contracts. I don't think Tomas Satoransky is necessarily part of the future plans. We'll see. I need to do a little more research on Tomas Satoransky now. I know he started his career with the Wizards ended up down there in New Orleans. Hasn't been a bad player for them, but it'll be interesting to see what the Spurs eventually decide to do. Other than that, they're stockpiling picks, and all of a sudden, Spurs Twitter has a little something to talk about. This isn't a trade for the sake of making a trade. It's a trade for basically one expiring contract for another, and you get a second-round pick, and you help make the numbers work in another deal that helps out the Jazz, who, in all honesty, the Spurs aren't competing against. The Jazz are a top 10 team, or excuse me, they're a top 5 team probably in the NBA, but definitely a top 10 team and somebody that's trying to get in contention. The Spurs aren't there right now, so you might as well take one of their picks, and who knows, it might be another one of those 2027, 2028 picks to where this current Jazz team will not be on the court, so maybe it'll be closer to the 30 than 60.
Esteban Ramon. Asterisk, Google's Thomas Satoransky highlights. Asterisk. I mean, I think that's what a lot of Spurs fans are doing right now, just to figure it out. Gabriel Chacon on our Facebook live feed says that Rudy gets praised for wearing warm-ups on Radio Row, Pledge getting roasted for dressing up. I get it. I get it. I don't expect everybody to get my style. It is my style. I like it. I'm not asking anybody else to get on board with it. You can do what you want. Just don't ask for my help with style if you want style and then not use my style. On the Kielbasa Bacon phone line, 656 ESPN 210-656-3776. Of course, they are always open to you. Drew in the Woodlands called in. Drew, how you doing, my man?
I think that you look dapper. I think that you make an effort. I think that it's great. I mean, I'd love to be a guy on the radio and just eat and drink, roll into my, Speedo. I mean, whatever, like pajamas. But you make an effort. You're camera ready. And just like DeJounte Murray, the bow tie he wore when he got drafted. And then in 11 days, he'll be an all-star. I'm kind of curious. According to Uncle Dennis, the guy who shall not be named was really upset that the Spurs didn't do good things. I mean, they didn't do it up for him when he went to his first all-star game. I'm just kind of wondering what kind of things, red carpet, are the Spurs going to do for the first homegrown all-star since, he who shall not be named. And I don't know. I mean, I hope he gets whatever he wants. Maybe he doesn't get demanded, but I'm just kind of call back there. I remember that Uncle Dennis, and I hope that this is the first time in 4 years since the Spurs homegrown has been in an all-star game. And he could go to multiple all-star games. The kind of guy's got about impact. He's going to go there, and people will be impressed by him, coaches, and they're going to put him back on. Other people are go there. If they don't know him already, they're going to know him, right? It's going to have to be his one and done, not a one and done like people are saying. And shame on the people out there who were trying to say that he needed to be traded or that he had reached some kind of ceiling after he busted his knee. Anyway, you look great.
Appreciate the phone call, Drew in the Woodlands. Right on the Kielbasa Bacon phone line, 656 ESPN 210-656-3776. Look, I'm willing to eat L's all the time. I thought DeJounte Murray should have been part of a package you were probably going to use to get Ben Simmons, mainly just because he was the best player, not named Keldon Johnson at the time, who was coming off the Olympics, and the ceiling and the arrow was pointing about as sky high as it could at the point in time. So I thought that both Murray and White, if you're going to move to get a guy like Simmons, who's going to be playing a lot of point guard for you, then those are two obvious moves, because DeJounte seemed to have been pretty close to his ceiling. Like he felt like he had plateaued over the last couple of years. He broke through that ceiling here this season.
I'm surprised. I don't know if you said that you felt that he plateaued, but I do think that maybe that where he had been the last couple of years playing behind DeMar DeRozan, who was the primary ball handler.
But he was closest to his ceiling of all the young prospects, I thought. Mainly because of time served. The only other one that was closer to his ceiling was Derek White, in my opinion, at the time. But DeJounte took a huge leap this year.
Yeah, and I think that was almost to be expected. Obviously, you can only grade a player based off of what he's done. And this summer, DeJounte Murray hadn't done what he's doing right now. And he's broken the Spurs franchise record for triple doubles in a season. He is an all-star. Unfortunately, I think until like this last couple of weeks, the Spurs have been hit by COVID every week since November. So it hasn't been a dream season, but I'm happy for DeJounte that he's back in there. And he shows that the Spurs can build around him. So you know that going forward, DeJounte Murray's going to be a San Antonio Spur. You love his work ethic. You love what he brings to the table on both sides of the court. But to get these good players like a Domantas Sabonis you see yesterday, it requires giving up good players. And sometimes NBA GMs are too stingy with their assets. And in that particular case,
the Spurs fall into that category a lot of times.
And I was going to say, in that particular case, I think Ben Simmons and Daryl Morey were the situation where they were stingy. And they said, hey, yeah, we like DeJounte. We like this guy. However, it's going to still cost you 4 first-round picks on top of that. That's where, as a GM, you have to realize it's not one of those situations where a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, because you're talking about a bird in the hand versus 5 in the bush. And those are first-round picks. They're very valuable right now. And DeJounte Murray, is a really good player on top of that. And the Spurs at least understood that. So I'm glad that they didn't trade him, and he's doing what he's doing right now with another team. Are the Spurs done? I don't know. It seems like they're setting themselves up for a lot of cap space, and to go away from the mentality of no one's going to come here in San Antonio. You can't have that mindset if you're an NBA GM. The Spurs are going to be able to have maybe now the second most cap space potentially after the Blazers making all of their big deals, cleaning up shop with CJ McCollum. We'll see where they end up going.
Jonathan C. on our YouTube live feed says, can someone just tell me what the criteria for an all-star is? I give up just thinking now. Here's the thing. The criteria is what they dictate it to be. How popular are you within the league? Because that is a big criteria on becoming an all-star, is how popular are you within the league?
Most of the time they get it right. I want to go out on a limb and say that Adam Silver maybe regrets picking Mike Conley over DeMar DeRozan last year. I want to say that wasn't getting it right. But for the most part, yeah, you're talking about your superstars. They're the obvious guys. But it's not like Russell Westbrook is getting into the All-Star game based off of previous merits.
Well, his voting.
Well, the voting is one thing. It's still a fan vote contest, but only 50% of the fan votes go towards the starters, and they don't pick any of the reserves.
I'm aware, but the votes do have an impact on it. And when you allow fan voting, things like that happen. Andrew Wiggins is a starter because of the fan vote.
And he had a good year too, but that's true. That's true. It's not just because of the fan vote, but the fan vote plays a lot into it.
I don't put as much stock in a Pro Bowl or an All-Star appearance as I do being named All-NBA or first team All-Pro in the NFL.
And
those are the awards that matter to me more than a Pro Bowl appearance or an All-Star appearance.
And both All-Star and those postseason awards are very important to NBA players because that determines what your max contract is. So those are obviously things that are important to players. I just wish we let the players and coaches vote on all NBA, because I don't think it's necessarily great for media to vote, just because I think the opinion or the smarter people are up there.
He is Carl Schoening. You can follow him on Twitter at CarlESPN. I am at I Am Pledger. You're locked into halftime right here on San Antonio Sports Star. When we come back, the Houston Texans, well, they pivoted, made a big move, announced Lovie Smith as their head coach. Lovie Smith spoke yesterday about who was considered a favorite in the head coaching search and what his fit could possibly be on the Houston Texans. We'll talk about it next, and whether that would be a good move or not. That's all coming up right here on halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star is headed to LA. Get the latest news, moves, analysis, and world-class roster of guests all week leading up to the game.
To the next episode.
R&R in the morning, halftime, and the Blitz all live from Los Angeles.
Joining us now, the Moves, Gerald Johnston. We get to talk to Michael Irvin. DeMarcus Ware joining us now.
Don't miss a minute all week long. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, Nearside App, Texas Chia Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and three-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today, 571-0318.
This is your Wendy's wake-up call. Start your day with a better breakfast and get a free drink with any of our morning-making breakfast sandwiches. That's your favorite drink in a Wendy's cup, free. Fresh brewed coffee, free. Diet Coke, free. Vanilla Frosty-Chino, that's cold brew plus Frosty Creamer plus free. So don't sleep on this deal. Get any size drink in a Wendy's cup free when you buy any breakfast sandwich. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's. A la carte only. Offer valid upon request on lowest price qualifying item. Not valid for third-party delivery.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings. Only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
So here's the deal. If you're an entrepreneur, a contractor, gigster, self-employed, or a freelancer, that means you're in business for yourself, which means you can get a business bank account that pays you back 2.2% in 2022. It's called Nearside.com, and right now, it's free. I get it. Usually when banks say free, they drop the R and it's fee. Monthly fee, overdraft fee. With Nearside, there's no fees, not even a sign-up fee. I'm talking free, the kind that feels like sunshine and makes you do a happy dance, especially when your Nearside debit card pays you back the 2.2 in 2022. That's 2.2% of everything you buy for taking care of business. From a laptop or a paintbrush to work shoes and cheeseburgers, it's free money back into your business. No hidden fees, just really, truly free. Start your free account today at nearside.com/free. Debit card rebate restrictions apply. Visit nearside.com for details. Nearside is not a bank. Banking services are provided by Lending Club Bank N.A. member FDIC. Nearside.com/free.
If I'm going to work from my home office, I need my home office to work for me.
It's possible at Staples.
To be most productive, my home office needs to have everything my office has.
Also possible because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done from home. And right now, you can save up to 40% on select chairs to put the finishing touch on your home office. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. In-store only while supplies last.
It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Welcome back into San Antonio Sports Star. This is halftime right here on 1250 AM, 103.3 FM. Total Rob Thompson there. We are your break from the midday. He is Carl Schoening. I am James Pledger. Michael Jimenez doing the dirty work down on Radio Row in LA right now. As we take you up till 2 o'clock. It's a big day on Radio Row for them, man. Big, big day. Some of the guests that they have scheduled over the next few days. We're talking about former Dallas Cowboy cornerback Orlando Scandrick, former Atlanta Falcons general manager Thomas Dimitroff, in my opinion, the swaggiest GM in all of football. Love me some Thomas Dimitroff. Andrew Beck, a former Longhorn and Denver Broncos tight end currently. Get to talk about Nathaniel Hackett, the new hire there, and what's going on in Denver. Kyle Turley, a former New Orleans Saint, and at the time would have been St. Louis Ram offensive lineman. Tyler Lockett, really good receiver, working his way down Radio Row. The playmaker, Michael Irvin. He's going to be joining tomorrow. Bill Romanowski, Ryan Leaf, Lee Steinberg, all coming up later on the Blitz.
It's already eclipsed what we've done to this point. What's going to be happening in the next 48 hours?
Oh, it's going to get even more than that. Like, there is a lot working its way down the pike. I know their big Last Chance You guys, they talked with the Last Chance You coach, JB.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Coach
No, that'll be
JB.
a lot of fun. I'm glad that they get to, go out there and meet some cool people.
It's a good time, no doubt about that. But I look at Thomas Dimitroff and the GM. Caserio just announced Lovie Smith as the next head coach of the Houston Texans. And the way they got around to it, a lot of people asked me, what do you think of the hire? I was like, well, it is the best case, worst case scenario, right? Because it felt like they got to what could be a good hire in the most roundabout wrong way possible.
I am curious how long this general tanking is going to continue with the Texans, because I think they found their guy for at least next year in Davis Mills.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
They have a lot of young guys, and I think their explanation to Lovie Smith over other candidates was that they liked somebody who's been there, because firing Culley was not necessarily part of the game plan.
Mhm.
Just somewhere along the way, they didn't see eye to eye, and they decided to let him go. So why not replace him with somebody who is maybe understanding of where this franchise is trying to head? I mean, I don't know where they're trying to head, but Lovie Smith has an idea. And even though he hasn't really been a popular choice for a head coaching position since 2014, he's established. He has been there before. And I do think coaching is one of those professions, just like players, except with a lack of athletic ability, you don't have to worry about age being too big of a deal. You get better with age. So Lovie Smith and all of his very distinguished white beard is going to be somebody that maybe can help the Texans improve. But, when you're a bottom 5 team like the Texans, and you're a Texans fan, so that's why I'm asking you this.
Mhm.
What do you do to get out of that rut? It can't just be draft picks and capital.
Oh,
There
it's
has to be.
absolutely what it is.
Okay.
Draft picks and drafts and cap space. Those are the two biggest issues, because the talent on the Texans, it is a team bereft of talent for the most part. You can only scheme so much. At some point, talent wins out. There's a reason that the Rams went all in and brought in Von Miller and brought in Jalen Ramsey and brought in Matthew Stafford, because they had the pieces. They were falling just short. They decided to go get the pieces that were missing to the equation.
But they were in a Super Bowl a few years ago.
Sure.
It's not like they're working from ground zero like they are right now. In fact, they're doing the other things. They're actually sending away their draft capital to get these players. So I see what you're saying about the talent.
But they drafted a lot of the talent that is there in the first place.
Yeah.
Leonard Floyd, they've brought in talent, whether it is via free agency or the draft, that allows them to spend to have those higher profile names.
So okay, put your GM cap on right now. What do you do if you're the Texans? What is your immediate plan within realistic expectations? Deshaun Watson obviously is the top priority, and we'll figure out what's going on with that. But assuming you can never trade Deshaun Watson, how do you rebuild this franchise?
Obviously, Deshaun Watson's a huge component to kickstarting any rebuild. But you got to look at what Caserio did last year. It was very good. He got Davis Mills, which looks like there's at least the possibility that you can consider him as a part of the future of this team in some way, shape, or form. You've got you traded back into the third round and got Nico Collins, who emerged late in the year. You've got other pieces that you drafted, whether it's Brevin Jordan, Garrett Wallow, like you've got Roy Lopez at defensive tackle. All of these rookies played well and added last season, right? So you continue to build on that with draft picks. You continue to add certain pieces week by, draft by draft. And the more you hit on, the better that talent becomes. Then you start supplementing by getting free agents. Like they got Desmond King, who was a very good corner that was playing on a prove-it deal and played extremely well last year. You go find guys like that in free agency to help supplement, to reclaim their value, and then maybe you sign a couple of people on 2-year deals or 3-year deals to try and, I see something there that I want to groom. This is not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination.
You hear that, McNair family? You should just hire James Pledger and his phenomenal wardrobe.
No, I truly believe that Caserio is a good general manager.
Yeah.
I have questions about Caserio outside of doing general manager things, being on the headsets during a game. That was a big thing. The fact that you have interviewed a guy that has zero coaching experience last year for a head coaching vacancy, he then, to prepare to become a coach after coming off the field, did absolutely nothing except watch his son play football this past season. And he not only interviewed twice, but was a finalist for said job. And it feels like you only didn't hire him because the optics were so bad. Like, it feels like Caserio's interviewing and putting finalists, and the reason Lovie Smith was kind of elevated is because you get to keep Pep Hamilton, elevate him to offensive coordinator. And I love Pep Hamilton, and I'm happy that he is the offensive coordinator. You keep Frank Ross as the special teams coordinator. You bring in other guys, like other Caserio guys that have ties to him to be on this coaching staff. Like it feels like he is trying to control everything within the organization. And most general managers, they hire a head coach, they let them pick their staff. This feels very Jerry Jones-ish in a way.
All I can say is good luck, Texans fan. You're a very brave soul being one. I don't know where they go from here, because it seems like they didn't understand that Bill O'Brien was trying to get fired until it was too late, and he had already done several things that were potentially fireable offenses, starting with trading DeAndre Hopkins for Laramie Tunsil and
Laramie Tunsil was 2 firsts and 2 seconds. The DeAndre Hopkins was for a 2nd round pick and David Johnson's corpse of a contract.
Yeah, because David Johnson had been like 2 years removed from being a top-tier running back. So it's not like they could have expected him to be what he was in that trade. So, this is just such a perfect storm of moving the Texans into the process. And good luck in the process.
Jay Glenn on our YouTube live feed says, trade Watson to Washington for 2 second-rounders. Or 2 first-rounders, excuse me. Sorry, it's probably going to take 3 and probably a couple of seconds, too.
I appreciate your ambition. And when is the deposition? It's coming up. So
it's this month.
We should know sometime
by the end of this
before,
month, he will be deposed.
So sometime before April, when the draft is, we'll have a better idea of where Deshaun Watson stands. And maybe your ambitions of getting 3 first-round picks is not going to be realistic. We'll see.
there's a very good chance of that. But until proven otherwise, I'm going to treat him like the commodity he is, which is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Man, that sucks that he's not there. I remember when he got into didn't he beat who was it that started above him? Was it Josh McCown? Was Josh McCown the starting quarterback when he was a rookie?
No,
Watson?
That would be Tom Savage.
Tom Savage?
Who got sacked 7 times in the first half against the Jacksonville Jaguars in their opener.
And I remember they put in Deshaun Watson basically saying, run for your life. And that's what he did. And that's why he's such a successful quarterback. And I hope that the Texans do, for your sake, Pledge, get the draft capital they're looking for. Good luck.
Here's the fun thing. And Mateo Franklin, a noted Washington Commanders fan, says he looks at the Texans organization and is glad he is a Washington fan. Our dumpster fire isn't as bad.
I don't know.
You say that, but the Commanders have now hired a firm to investigate the sexual harassment allegations against owner Daniel Snyder. There is a probe into the owner of your organization for sexual misconduct, which is something that caused Mr. Jerry Richardson to lose his franchise after a sexual harassment probe. So I don't know how great it is. There is a good chance that because of this, you could be put in a far worse situation. Yes, your owner could be forced to sell, which is something you want to happen, but the league could also levy punishments against the team itself in terms of draft picks, cap space, and fines of up to $500,000 against the organization.
I can understand fines and needing to clean house of a toxic culture, but I don't understand why you punish the fan base with the penalties. Okay, maybe if we're looking at the Deflategate and the other things, Tom Brady deserves suspensions, and that's sort of punishing the fan base. But taking away draft picks, that you look back at all the way you look all the way back to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Bountygate.
Bountygate. Yeah, you look back to that one's a different story. But
it costs them draft picks.
Yeah, and I feel like that hurts the fans more than it hurts the team, because we look back at Kevin Garnett when they signed, I think it was Joe Smith, and they found out that there was tampering and they took away like 3 first-round picks. That franchise is still fighting to get out of that situation, although you can argue that they've just never really been able to get out of that situation because they're the Timberwolves. At the same time, that was a loss of a really good player because of his prime, I should say, of KG's prime, because of an executive's decision, and the fans miss out on that. You should just fire the guilty parties or have them removed. That seems to be the better situation than costing teams their first or second round picks.
656 ESPN 656-3776 on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. You can reach out to us on our Facebook and YouTube page. Just search San Antonio Sports Star, or you can tweet at either of us. He is at Carl ESPN. I am at I Am Pledger. But I hope you're glad you're listening right now, because we also have some tickets to give away. That is right. Death on the Nile is hitting theaters this Friday. Awesome movie starring Gal Gadot. It is following up on the premise of Murder on the Orient Express. It looks like a very, very intriguing thriller, kind of whodunit type movie. And I, for one, want to go see it. I see people are already calling in, even though I haven't told them what number they have to be yet. But if you want to go see Death on the Nile this Friday, or at any point in time after this Friday when it releases, call in on the Kielbasa Bacon phone line, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Be caller number 7, and you could end up with a couple of Fandango codes to go see Death on the Nile this Friday. Of course, we are your home for everything, including the Dallas Cowboys, and our Radio Row coverage all week long is just about to kick into high gear as we are filling in for Jimenez, who is tirelessly working on getting more and more guests. But Carl and I will be right back. When we come back, the Spurs have made at least one more deal, so that's 2 more than we're used to seeing this year. We'll let you know the details of that deal coming up right here on San Antonio Sports Star and what it means for them as we get closer and closer to the deadline, which is now just a little over 24 hours away. He is Carl Schoening. I am James Pledger. You're locked into halftime right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN at AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The Bengals and the Rams are headed to L.A. for the big game. We've got you covered all week long, live from Los Angeles. Presented by AA Best Bell Bonds, Nearside App, Texas Cheer Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Two Texas NBA teams were in action last night. The New Orleans Pelicans, hot off their trade for C.J. McCollum, picked up a win over the Houston Rockets, 110-97. 6 Pelicans scored in double figures to lead New Orleans, while Kevin Porter Jr. was the only bright spot for Houston, putting up 27 points in the defeat. In Dallas, the Mavericks easily handled the Pistons 116-86. Luka Doncic had 33 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds to give Dallas the win. Both teams will not be back on the hardwood until after the NBA trade deadline on Thursday. And tonight, after 4 days off, the San Antonio Spurs kick off their annual rodeo road trip. The first of 8 straight road games has San Antonio in Cleveland for a 6 p.m. tip-off against the Cavaliers. Josh Primo was recalled from Austin yesterday and will be joining the San Antonio Spurs for the start of the road trip. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490. The Roo Pub is the best place to watch a game. Football, basketball, the big fights, they have them on at the Roo on their 3 massive 170-inch laser screens and TVs all around. Come hungry, the food is fantastic, and the kitchen is open until 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has the best darts area in town, indoor cornhole, and weekday happy hour from 11 to 6. For lunch, dinner, or late at night, and the best place to watch a game, get into the Roo Pub at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Yeah! Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Are you stocked up for the big game? Are you stocked up for Super Sunday? If you're not, you need to get over to Texas Cheer Liquor. You need to get over there quick. They got 2 locations on Petranco, one at Highway 90 in Montgomery, and the all-new Texas Cheer Liquor at Palo Alto in the Patron Plaza. And stay tuned. May have a couple more on the way, but beer, wine, liquor, cigars. And if you're really trying to do it big and you're really trying to impress your party goers, they got the 8-gallon and the 16-gallon kegs. Go to TexasCheerLiquor.com and check them out.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll love is easy at Diamonds Direct this Valentine's. With an expanded selection of designer jewelry and our best offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Your love is always our passion at Diamonds Direct, but especially on Valentine's Day. So we're holding nothing back. Pick any item, get our best value price, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest financing. Everything's included. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, pendants, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course, the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. And this weekend, we're also showcasing all new collections from our top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, and others. No matter what you choose for the one you love, you'll get the best price and 5 years, 0 interest financing. We're even open this Sunday with special pregame shopping hours 11 to 4. Get more details and even shop online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Unapproved credit.
Where will you be on the biggest NFL Sunday? Well, get to Twin Peaks for the best seats made from scratch food and 29-degree cold beer. It's a football fan's paradise. No one wants to sit in the nosebleeds, especially on the biggest Sunday of the season. That's why Twin Peaks is here to give you front row viewing on all the big game with all the great TVs. Who you got, the Bengals or the Rams? Make the call and visit one of the 3 San Antonio Twin Peaks locations this Sunday for the biggest NFL Sunday of the year. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and those scenic views.
The Rams, the Bengals, 4 quarters away from a championship. Who will raise Lombardi's trophy? Don't miss a minute all week from LA. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, Nearside App, Texas Chia Liquor. Roll home with Joe Reinagle and Jason Minix.
His name is Kenny Pickett. He does not want to get measured for the hand measurements. It's part of the draft process because he has a double jointed thumb. As we talked